Well, between our two presenters, a fascinating story of complex soft skills being applied, coming together, not just a question of a roof over their head. In fact, both the speakers spoke at great length about all the other things that were likely to make a difference, and those kinds of soft, smart skills. The only other thing I'll make as an observation before I ask Debbie to come in is that I have to say commissioning and procurement structures are not having a good pandemic, whether it's some of the headline stuff that's going on about the early procurement, but also in these microeconomies at local level. So I think that will be one of the questions that comes out. So can I introduce Debbie Simpson, who's the Chief Exec of the Institute for Continuous Improvement in Public Services. And Debbie, what's your reflections on what you've heard, and perhaps connect it to any other wider lessons or debates that are going on about what the pandemic has forced us to address? Debbie, over to you.
Thanks, Neil. Well, I think to me that was really, really interesting to listen to Alex and John, and I took an awful lot from that. In fact, I mean, change usually happens, and real adversity is where you see the inspirational change, such as wars and things like that. And in a way, COVID is a war, as the Prime Minister has told us over the months. And I think what we've seen come out of this, in terms of what Alex and John have been talking about, is absolute classic agile transformation. It's textbook stuff. And when you look through the components of what they're talking about, I made a note of them all as we went along. So we saw a strong agreement, which gave him impetus to the work that they were looking to do. And it was extremely customer focused, which is always the way transformational change should be. They had a common goal and they spoke with one voice. They had a clear plan, so everybody knew what they were trying to achieve and they could articulate that. We saw the creation of specialised cross-functional teams. So they tapped into their existing links and they hooked up across specialisms and across organisations, and they built trust between them very rapidly to make something happen. And then we also heard about how they removed the barriers and they were empowered to do so. So they didn't go through traditional procurement routes, for example. And then we heard about their innovation. So they were making decisions outside of the norm and using different approaches, such as collecting data from new sources instead of going through the traditional routes. So they achieved what they need to a lot faster through that sort of innovation. And then we heard how they removed all the non-value adding activity. So they cut through the usual red tape and the approvals and the unnecessary change protocols that a lot of change programs tend to follow. And as a result of all that, they've achieved something quite remarkable. They've achieved rapid transformation that made such a huge difference to the lives of others. And also, by the sounds of it, had some unintended benefits as well in terms of the nutritional side of things and the well-being and the of the individuals who took advantage of all of this opportunity that had been made available to them. So, as I say, it's sort of absolutely textbook change done in the most agile manner that I've heard about for a long time. And I think there's lessons in there that we can all take from that. About how we manage change moving forward. So thank you for sharing that with us.